Hey guys, welcome to my YouTube channel. This is MAKAZI Fashions. Today I'll be teaching you how to make a basic skirt pattern. Kindly like, share and subscribe. So you measure 1 inch from the top and mark that, and then 1 inch here and mark that, and then join those two. So I'm leaving 1 inch up there, and then I will start with doing the vertical measurements. My waist to hips is 9, so I'm marking 9 here. Remember, you're starting from this line here. You're not starting from the start of the page or the paper. And then you go again, you mark 9, and then you square across. You measure the length of the skirt, which in my case is 24 inches. So 24 inches, here it is. Again, I measure again 24 inches and square across. After doing the vertical measurements, we are going to measure the body round measurements, and we are going now to the waist. What you do, waist you divide by 4 plus 1 inch, which is the dart allowance, okay? And then I go to the hips. On the hips, I'll do hips measurements, which is round measurements, which is 42, divide by 4. Okay, 42 divided by 4 is giving me 10.5, and here we don't add any allowance because we don't have a dart at the hips, so that is going to be exactly 10.4, 10.5. The same measurements you will mark at the full length of the skirt, that is 10.5 down here. Is at the hips. This is where we measured the hips. You are going to go up and down 1 inch. You go downwards 1 inch, make your mark there. Go upwards 1 inch, make your mark there. Then join those two, right? After that, you can join this one to full length. At the waist here, you will go up by half an inch. And then you're going to use your curve ruler to join this part here now, where you've gone up by half an inch. The dart you're going to, with your bust pan measurement, in my case it was 3.5, you measure it from the center front. So it is 3.5, so from the center front to where the dart is going to be, it's going to be 3.5 inches. So as you can see on my tape measure, that's 3.5. And then you measure 3.5 somewhere. And join the two. Now the front dart is usually not as long as the back dart, around 4 inches. So downwards you measure 4 inches to this point here, and then the dart is going to be 0.5 inches on both sides. Okay, 0.5 on the other end, so in total is going to be a full inch. That is why we added the 1 inch allowance. And then you join them with this point that we have drawn down here. The front is usually on fold, so let me mark for you the on fold symbol, so you don't forget when you're cutting, because if you do cut too, it is going to mess your fabric. Remember this point here where we measured on from the hips 1 inch up and 1 inch down, that to this point, because if the curve goes all the way to the hip line, sometimes it protrudes on the dress and it looks like it's not following the natural body curve. So this is what this does. So we join the two like that. You want to do a pencil skirt. What you're going to do is come down here, go inwards at the length of the skirt by 1.5 inches, okay, and join this from the hip line. So you join those two like that. And then you come with your curve ruler and try to smooth and smooth. When you are cutting your fabric, you are going to add the seam allowance for this cut. On the waist, it's always going to be half an inch seam allowance. On the side, you do 1 inch seam allowance. At the bottom, you can do from 1 inch to 2 inches. So we are going to cut. We'll cut this front part and use it to draft the back part. Now, if you want the skirt to be pencil, this is how you will cut at this line, so your skirt is gonna be like this, okay? Now that one will give you a pencil skirt like that. You can see it is curving nicely. This will give you a beautiful skirt. So we are going to cut the waistline. So here you join this, you join this like this, and then you cut it like that for the dart area, okay? So there you go. This is the front part of the skirt. Now we will use the seam to cut the back part. Now I measure 2 inches all the way down and then draw a line downwards. The upper area I will still leave 1 inch. So what I will do, I will use the front to cut the back. So I will just place the front skirt pattern on the back pattern, and then I will align the front of the skirt with this zipper line here and pin it. And then after that, you simply cut out the pattern. Another thing that is important is that you need to mark where the dart is, okay? And then I can just use the same pins to mark this point of the dart here. So I can transfer this dart to the back to make my work easy. I will extend this. And then we cut it off. So now I'm done with the front part, so this one I don't need it anymore. So I'm gonna remove the pins. So now this is the front, the front now. That one we are done with. So this is the back. So what you will just do is this point that we marked here, just join it with this point, show you the hip line, okay? And this part is the waist area. Remember that point. Now the only difference now again with the back is that you will extend the dart downwards by 1 inch. The front we had measured the dart to be 4 inches. This one we're going to measure it to be 5 inches. So here you go. The same thing we did for the front, you do it for the back. Just come inwards, 1.5, mark it here, and then you join it at this point that we had marked. That was one inch downward from the hip line, and join that with the at the point at the full length of the skirt. But if you are doing a normal skirt that is not pencil like me, you are going to use this. Thank you for watching, guys. If you enjoyed the video, please don't forget to like, share and subscribe. Bye. Enjoy yourselves.